Good morning and welcome back to the Rec Room. I'm your boy Tony the Brick Whisperer, and I know this isn't my usual camera angle, and the reason for that is because the Christmas tree is up. It is the holiday season, so it's time to start getting into that festive spirit. Christmas by far one of probably my favorite holiday. I absolutely love it, and so that's what we're doing. We're going to be building some Christmas sets. I know that my lighting is a little off, and the reason for that is because my ring light decided to just fall apart on me. I'm always having some kind of difficulties, whether it's recording issues, equipment issues. It is what it is. So, what are we going to do today? Well, like I said, we're going to dive into some Christmas builds because we're trying to figure out where we're going to display everything, and I can't wait to get rocking and rolling on this one. But first, the disclaimers. So, as you all know, Lego has not given me anything. Bricks and Minifigs Avondale hasn't given me anything. I have received nothing from nobody except from Mrs. Brick Whisperer for the permission to build all of my Christmas stuff and get it all out there. So, with all of that being said, let's dive right into our first build, set number 40274. Oh, wait. I'm doing this all wrong. Let's do this correctly. Boom! Set number 40274, the Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus Brickhead set. Real quick, easy build. You know how much the Brickheads are essentially loved here. And what's funny is Mrs. Brick Whisperer has her own collection of Brickheads, but apparently she wasn't necessarily wanting the Nutcracker or the Santa and Mrs. Claus Brickheads, but that's okay because we got them. It is what it is. Maybe we'll get more. So why don't we dive right into that build? Here we go. And we're off. Okay, so some info about the build because I failed to explain that earlier. So this set was released on the 1st of October of 2018 and retired on the 31st of December 2019 with a recommended retail price of $20. Not a bad little set. Like I said, I enjoy it. I like the Brickheads. Now, some things that I'll show you along the way were some ornaments that I had stumbled across. Some of these are also Bricks and Minifigs make and takes coming up soon. So keep an eye out over at Bricks and Minifigs Avondale for some Lego Christmas ornament make and takes. All right, so this build took me approximately 27 minutes. We got Mrs. Claus going right now. And I do like the detail that they put with her making everything, make it look like a Christmas dress. And I know as we get to the end, I know right now we're still putting together her hair and hat and so forth. But as we get closer to the end, I like her little accessory because she sits there. She's holding essentially a plate of cookies or a plate of sweets. There's the cup of, I would imagine, hot cocoa for when Santa gets back. And there, Mrs. Claus is done. I was about to call her Mrs. Brick Whisperer. If you're wondering why I'm speaking semi-quietly, it's because most everybody is still asleep. So, trying to keep things quiet. All right, now we dive into making Santa. sort as I go. Now, you saw with the Nutcracker, there was some motion, being able to move the jaw up and down in the previous video. You're obviously not going to be seeing that here. Neither Santa nor Mrs. Claus have any motion. In fact, I don't think any BrickHeads, aside from the Nutcracker that we own, has motion. I could be wrong, though. So I enjoyed this little build. We have this little cubby right next to the front door where the majority of the Christmas sets that we are building will end up. To include just about every set that we are building. There's one that we have to figure out, but we'll get to that point when we get to that build. So Santa is done. It's time to build his little Christmas tree that sits right next to him, along with a handful of gifts. And there we go. All done. And oh my goodness, that lighting is something. That lighting leaves something to be desired, doesn't it? Well, hey, here we are right back at our normal camera angle so that everybody can see why exactly this room is called my rec room. But there you have it. There's the Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus BrickHeads. A fun little build. I enjoyed it. It's quick, which allows me to get some stuff done around the house. Like, not straighten up my rec room. So some of the ornaments that we had built that will probably end up on that Christmas tree. It'll either be that one or the tree that we have in my bedroom. We have one ornament, a little Christmas tree ornament, a little star, Santa's sleigh, and we'll take a look at a few more when we get done with this next build. So our next build, boom, set number 40484. This would be Santa's front yard. Again, a fun little build. And I mean, what can I say? I particularly like the 3D look to it. I think that looks amazing. But instead of me talking about it right yet, how about we dive right into the build? Here we go. All right. Let's get this rocking and rolling. Get the base plate down. So this set was released on the 20th of November of 2021, but it did not last very long. It retired just essentially 6 weeks later on the 31st of December of 2021. And from everything that I can tell about this was a exclusive gift with purchase only if you had bought something from Lego.com. So this was a GWP. So I thought that this set was rather cool because, you got that little frozen river, creek, whatever you want to call it. But like I said, the whole 3D aspect of it, like you already see the start of two trees there, but then there's two other trees that are integrated into the background. So, excellent touch. I thought that one was really, really cool. If I am not mistaken, once upon a time when we had initially bought this set, we had bought this set, I don't know, a number of years ago. If I'm not mistaken, this was Mrs. Brick Whisperer's idea. She wanted this set. She thought it was cute, and she loves all the cutesy. Like, y'all know this. She loves the cutesy stuff. And as you can see right there in the background, on the edge of my Lego pad there, you got the Grinch. That's probably one of my favorite builds that I had done. Um, I had seen an image on social media, and so I just essentially copied it. I sat there, I tinkered with it, played around, tried to figure out the best way to go about getting the look, and it took a little doing, but I got there. So now that I have this build kind of turned to where you can see what I'm talking about, there's that 3D aspect of it. I've already got one tree made. You see the two trees built into the background there. Put up the little North Pole sign. Now it's time to knock out the reindeer. And you got the little elf there holding his lantern and carrot, wanting to feed the reindeer. Now, I know that typically with Lego, they will bake stuff and improve upon it later. This one was one of those ideas because the antlers needed some revamping, as you can clearly tell right there. But again, a cool little set. And hey, with how fuzzy this looks, maybe I need to work on, I guess, my zoom techniques and such. Another quick and easy build. That one only took me about 20 minutes. And, it is my hope, because I have the next couple of days off, to get some more of these sets knocked out and get them up here for y'all. But, again, really cool little set. How about we take a look at a few more of the ornaments that were made? So, like I said, some of these are going to be available as make and takes over at Bricks and Minifigs Avondale. We have ourselves a little gift, a little present. We have ourselves a snowman. And just your typical ornament. I like the little reflection because there's like a light or whatever. And I mean, it's just a 1x1 brick, but I think that it was a pretty cool little detail that was added. So, all right. So one more build, and we can get moving on. So what do you say we dive into, boom, set number 40426, the 2-in-1 Christmas wreath. So this one was a pretty cool set to do. However, as you saw from the image of the box there, it's a 2-in-1. You either have one that you can hang or another that you can use as a centerpiece. We chose to use the one as the centerpiece. So let's dive in. Here we go. All right. And so here we go. So y'all know my take on repetition. Let me tell you, while the botanicals have repetition, this wreath certainly has quite a bit. But, recently at work over at Bricks and Minifigs Avondale, I had to certify one set that was almost nothing but repetition. Let's face it, repetition just simply comes with the job now. So, the 2-in-1 Christmas wreath, originally released on the 1st of October of 2020, and this stuck around for a little while. Didn't retire until the 31st of December of 2023, so a little more than 3 years. With a recommended retail price of $40. So, Mrs. Brick Whisperer loves her candles and such, so I would imagine at some point when we get this out, there will be a rather large candle sticking up out of the middle of it. And now the wreath is starting to take shape. But now that the repetition is more or less over, what I liked about this right here is you kind of have, you get to use your own discretion on how full the wreath is. There's so many additional parts that you can make it look however you wish. For the purposes of these videos, I tend to not make very many modifications. So this one, I don't believe I made any. Um, in fact, I'm almost certain that I did this exactly as the instructions dictate how to do. Can I add more? Sure. Will I? Probably not. So as you can see, that inner area there, it's quite large. So like I said, that's why I believe that Mrs. Brick Whisperer will uh, add a large candle to it. Typical sorting as I go. So that, as you see, now I'm getting ready to move on to the candles and the bows. In fact, right now I'm working on a pair of bows. So you see all the greenery there, and that's all the extra parts. Because it's a two-in-one, you get a lot of extra parts. If I were to have built this as the hanging wreath, obviously the candles would not have gotten put on there. But again, this is one of those you get to use your own discretion. In fact, in the instruction manual, it also shows quite a few ideas as to what you can add to your wreath. And so there it is. I like how with the elements that make it look lit, I like how they make it look as if each of the candles have been burning longer. So I mean, each of the candles obviously different height. Excellent touch, Lego. Great job. So another quick fun build. Took me 25 minutes. I have no idea where Mrs. Brick Whisperer is going to want to put it. No idea. But we'll figure that out when the time comes. So quick, before we let you go. So the remaining ornaments that I have already knocked out to get added to our tree. One would be Santa. A candle. So, oops, I'm holding it the wrong way. Yep. So back here, there's a little, one of the modified plates gets used. So this way you can actually add a hook to it and so it hangs. And that's how most of them are. The ones with the hole, you can add essentially one of the Lego ropes elements, and that works great to hang something from. My two favorite ones. These two I don't believe are going to be make and takes from Bricks and Minifigs Avondale. I think that they're only doing 4. Don't ask me which 4 that they're doing. You'll just have to come by and see. But one of them was this angel. I like that one. I thought that one was really cool. But I particularly liked the reindeer. There are a couple of others. I'm going to actually, my box of Christmas sets has actually quite a few other Christmas ornaments that are going to be made, to include the gingerbread men that the Brick Whisperer family put together last year. Not going to be doing a video on that because, let's face it, we already did one. But there are others. There are other ornaments. Some of the previous year make and takes. Not going to do a video of the actual build, but I will be showing them off. There are some Lego set ornaments that will be getting made. One to include being made by, again, the Brick Whisperer family. So, y'all are just going to have to stay tuned. I'm pretty sure, and this is simply because of, I guess you could say, the demand. Everybody has been coming by the store and asking me about the gingerbread AT-AT that was just recently released. How big is it? You know, is it a cool set and so forth? Well, obviously, I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm going to be very, very biased. So I'm going to obviously say yes, it's a cool set. I haven't even built it yet, but I think the next video, is going to be the gingerbread AT-AT. I mean, hey, I love my Star Wars. I got to get a Star Wars build in sometime, right? So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Share this with your family. Share this with your friends. Share this with anybody you know that loves Lego. And with all of that being said, let me hear y'all loud and proud. We will see you when we see you. Y'all have yourselves a great day.